Hello and welcome back to the channel. Okay, the UK games industry will give 85,000 free games to NHS workers. Games occurs as the work for the UK trade body UK and VGC writer Chris Scullion. Right, so basically this is news about the UK decided to give free games to anyone that works for the NHS. Not just games and subscriptions. And this is backed by Codemasters, Konami, Sega, Media Miracle, Xbox. Molecule, so Xbox, Team 17, and it includes subscriptions as well for your consoles and stuff like that. So this is quick news. Anyone that knows anyone that's in the NHS, I do. My wife's in the NHS. See if you can do that. Get free games or free subs. Jump out there and get grabbing NHS workers now and being their friends. Yeah, so basically, yeah, free games, 85,000 free games to NHS workers. So there's a quick bit of news there, which is I'm sure many of you will be excited about, especially if you know someone who's in NHS. Let's move on to the next subject. So in a previous video, I predicted that the Last of Us 2 was delayed because it will be a PS5 launch game now, because there's no PS5 first-party games. Basically, well, this all changed because, oddly enough, follow me on this if you will. Sony said they're going to delay The Last of Us 2 indefinitely. So this was 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago, I said the game is delayed, using the word indefinitely. They didn't just say the game is delayed. They used the word also indefinitely, which suggests a very long time, or until further notice. But usually indefinitely doesn't mean 2 weeks later. This is what happened. The game was then given a release date 2 weeks after them saying it's going to be delayed indefinitely. Now that stinks, I think. Firstly, it just highlights that it wasn't delayed because of coronavirus, because you can't say yet coronavirus, we're going to have to delay the game, and then just 2 weeks after that go, no, it's right now, coronavirus, okay, yeah, you can have the game, here's the release date. Because that would have took ages to have a release date planned. And now my suspicion is more based around the leak. I reckon the reason why they've released it earlier than they probably would have liked to is because the big leak, which has left the director heartbroken. Yes, because some people went online and started giving details about games and giving away spoilers and stuff about the game. And this is believed to have been disgruntled employees, because at the moment, Naughty Dog employees I think they've lost about 70% of their staff at the moment, just leaving because they're not happy with Naughty Dog, which must relate also to Sony, the way they've been treated and stuff, and paid and things like that. So so the game has now got a release date, despite 2 weeks ago it being indefinitely delayed. It has a release date. How odd. 19th of June is the release date for that game. So there you go, if you're excited for that. But the thing is, Ghost of Tsushima was meant to have released that day. So now that's obviously delayed. But so you're going to have to wait for that. Or will that be now be a PS5 title? And then they'll sort of roll it on. But no doubt, knowing Sony, we'll see a The Last of Us Part 2 remaster in a year's time, no doubt. Just like the last game. So there we go. That's some odd news there. I find very odd how that just turned around. Let's find some more news. So what I also reported on a couple of videos ago was Xbox are going to do their own digital show on May the 7th. And this is just confirming that there will be games shown on May the 7th. So I think this is announced on Twitter by Xbox. Just confirming that they will be showing games on May the 7th. So please remember to tune into that show, May the 7th. The Microsoft's Inside Xbox event will take place on the 7th of May, 8 AM PT or 11 AM ET. Right, and says Ubisoft are also showing a gameplay trailer during Microsoft's event as well. So that could be possibly the new Assassin's Creed game, which is being rumoured. There is. They're just saying there. First trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There we go. So there we go. It's quick news there. Look out for the May 7th and Inside Xbox games reveal. And here it is. I said this back. Well, Sony originally said they will support PS4 for the next 3 years, and they said that last August. So August 2019, they said we will support the PS4. Moving into next generation, we will continue to support the PS4 for 3 more years, which would hint at CrossGen. I've also said their games will be CrossGen because they would be stupid just to dismiss 110 million consoles fan base. So they're obviously going to release games cross-gen as well. And this guy has now come out and said the same thing. PS5 games will be cross-gen for some time, reckons Frogware Dev. And he just goes into basically saying his reasons why, which basically mimic mine. You'd be stupid, basically, just to... If you've got to look at it like this, I've explained it before and I'll explain it again because still a lot of PS4 fans are saying Xbox, the PS5 will have exclusives. Xbox, the new Xbox won't have any games because their games won't be exclusives because you can play them on the last gen Xbox. It's weird. I just can't get my head out how unintelligent people are in the world, or just don't understand basic economics. Sony are going to release their new games, but they're not going to release their new games onto a new console when it's only sold 1 million units, for example. They're going to want to release their games onto a mass install base so they make maximum profit from their software. So, saying that, that's where we are. That's what Sony are going to do. This guy said it, I've said it, this guy said it. Sony have hinted it, but they've not yet said it because they know their fans go crazy and mad and weird over it for some reason, that they might have games cross-gen. Also, Sony do like to be sly and like to release games as remasters, as they did with The Last of Us last time. They released it in 2013, and then they released the game again as a remaster in 2014. The game wasn't even a year old. They remastered it for the next generation console, which is very naughty. However, people are stupid and they still did buy the remaster. So they spent £60 on the original game and then £60 on the remaster of a game that's not even a year old. But, you know, Sony relies on stupidity and they've got a massive install base for that, unfortunately. So, yeah, this guy has gone on and said, yes, he also believes games will be cross-gen for some time. So there we go. I mean, if you've got anything anywhere that says otherwise, that the PS5 will just have exclusives and the games won't be cross-gen, I'd like to see it. But as I've said, Sony have hinted at it, I've said it, now this guy's they've said it, and it's clever and the right thing to do, basically, for gamers. Let's move on to the last bit of news. And finally, for my last bit of news, as I said, news is a bit quiet and dry at the moment because of the coronavirus and stuff like that, and all the nonsense going on there. So there's just not much coming out because there's not a lot of people doing stuff. So there's very limited game news at the moment, but I'm still gonna do what I can. So Xbox Series X CPU DLI SSD will mark the biggest generation leap since 2D to 3D, Phil Spencer says. Yeah, he went on to Twitter. Let me read it out. Someone said, "Hi, Xbox P3," which is Phil. With the imminent arrival of the XSX, what technologies do you think allow this spectacular advance? We have been hearing about ray tracing for a few months, and recently about photogrammetry. Would this be a new course? RT on console would be great. I'm very focused on the work we are doing around dynamic latency input, DLI. In my view, the feel of games this upcoming generation will change as dramatically as any since 2D to 3D, given CPU upgrade, DLI, memory bandwidth, and SSD. And yes, the Xbox Series X does have an SSD, even though all the attention is given towards PS5. They both have SSDs. It's just that the PS5 has a fast one. That's it. So there we go. The Xbox Series X console will mark the biggest generation leap in a very long time, according to Xbox Phil Spencer, which I read out. So the dynamic latency is going to be a massive thing, he says. I've covered various tech things in previous weeks, what they mean and stuff. I can't recall if I covered dynamic latency. I believe I did. So let's have a quick scan here. There's a storage. The SS storage speed then lets us take those beautiful realistic environments and make them load in a flash. And we're talking about and we're talking about bigger environments. What the hell? The bloody adverts keep bouncing my thing around. Right, and we're talking. Look at that. And we're talking about bigger environments that the ones we could create on Xbox One. Finding new things on stream is an important part of this generation, and animation streaming is a game changer for motion capture. Now we can support detailed motion capture on a much wider scale, like non-player characters simply doing their thing in the background instead of all NPCs moving in an identical way. For example, the SSD storage speed means we can offer many unique motion capture animations, which is great because that's what you want dynamics. You want the world to be consistent and people to be getting on with the things. It's horrible you see NPCs just standing there and not do anything, or they don't do anything and don't act until you get into a certain range or distance of them, and then they start moving and doing around their business. Or if, as he says, when they're just generally doing the same thing. And I play a lot of MMOs, and MMOs are a bummer for that. They're all just doing the same thing, and they have set patterns, and you know what they're going to do. And that's why I don't really play single player games, because I find the game so easy, because the NPCs and the enemies and stuff are so predictable that I find one player games easy generally, basically. So that's why I play MMOs, because I prefer to play against other players. Makes it a bit more trickier. So digital showcases for both Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 are rumoured. Oh God Christ! Rumoured to be scheduled for May. But we know that Xbox One's on the 7th of May, and then they've got another one in June. PS5 is just a rumour, and they've not said anything yet, Sony. So there is news. Sorry, as I said, there's not been much because of all that's going on at the moment. So yes, I'm going to jump into Streets of Rage, which is just released on Game Pass. I'm going to play that instead until some more news comes up. Thanks for watching. Please sub and share. And you can share it on Twitter, share it wherever you want. Please sub, hit that little alarm button so when I release a new video you can watch it. I'm continuing my series on Conan, but I'm also gone back to my PvP series, so there'll be PvP on that as well. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.